something new. I'm trying to stream through Restream, and yeah, it looks like the titles are wrong. So give me a second to fix that. Update titles, KCD Office. Oh gee. KCD Office Hours 2023-03-16. Okay, cool. Hi, friends who are tuning in. It looks like YouTube is having a hard time getting this data. Let me just double check, because YouTube is where I normally stream. Okay, yeah, it's working. Yeah, well, so this is Office Hours. I've never streamed on Restream for Office Hours before, so this will be a fun new thing. So welcome, folks who are on Twitter and on Twitch and stuff. So if you've never been to Office Hours before, then you're in for a real treat, hopefully, because this is your chance to ask me questions. And yeah, I do have the Call Kent podcast, and I actually prefer most questions to be asked here because it's easier. There's like individual questions. It's easier to find the answers to specific questions and stuff. You can just record this directly in the browser and everything. You go make a recording and you can talk right here and everything works, and it's awesome and turns into a podcast episode. And yeah, it's pretty cool. But sometimes you can't do that very easily because you need to show me some code, or we need to look at some code together or something. So that is what Office Hours is for. And I give priority to people who are in the Zoom call, but I also have this Office Hours channel in Discord that you can post questions to throughout the week, and then I will answer them here after I answer questions for people who are on the Zoom call. So with all of that said, what question? Oh, by the way, also, of course, there is the chat on Twitch and on YouTube and Twitter. Like, you can tweet at me. I do not do any of that. I will not pay attention to those. If you want to ask a question, it's got to be here in Discord or on the Zoom. So with all that said, we do have somebody here in Zoom, and it's Aman. Do you have a question for me really quick before we get into other questions?
Yeah, I do actually. It's
Awesome.
more of a broader question, but if it's cool, like I'm in your Epic React course right now. It's been really fun, like messing about with use like the hooks and other like advanced React patterns. But I gotta say, like one of the coolest features of actually the course itself is the website and the login system. I was wondering, like, how did you make that like single sign-on login? Because is there like a tutorial or like some other courses that you offer to implement something like that?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I should probably, to be clear for folks watching, this is what Aman is talking about, is epicreact.dev. And there is I think it's at the bottom of the homepage. Yeah, meet the Epic React team. This is the team of people who worked on Epic React Dev, and my job was the workshop creation and instruction, and I did not do any of the development of the Epic React Dev website. So I don't personally have anything that you can look at. That said, the company that is behind this, it's Egghead, but also they've got two companies now. It's and so the one that's running these types of projects is Skill Recordings, and they have a repo on their GitHub called products. I'll just stick a link to that in here. And you will find under apps, there's Epic Web is here. Epic React is not here yet, but it will be eventually, I think. And testing JavaScript, it looks like it's here already. But yeah, so they do authentication the same way across all their projects. So you could look at any of these and try and make sense of it. All of these are Next.js apps. The Epic React is actually a Gatsby app, and they're migrating it over to Next.js. Epic Web, interestingly, is also Next.js, even though what you're going to be learning on there will be Remix. Well, general web stuff, but we'll be using Remix as our framework. But yeah, so that's all like important context for you to understand that, like, no, I didn't actually build any of the platform that this uses, just the content. That said, I do have an authentication system on my personal website, and if you log in here, then you can provide your email address. That will send a login link. So it actually has a very similar link system. It doesn't hook into GitHub Auth or anything like that, like Epic. I think Epic React does. At least other of their products do. I don't think actually Epic React does yet. It will eventually, I think. But yeah, so there's none of that. But if you're interested in just like this magic link thing, then you can look at my implementation on my website, and that's all here. Let me stick that.
Honestly, like I was looking for that because it's really cool how without actually creating a like actually having like a proper user login, you're able to persist information and data. And I think that's like truly fascinating. I know it goes beyond just front end development because backend is also involved, but I think it's very cool. But yeah, I'll take a look at your link and see if I can replicate something like that for as a tutorial or something.
Yeah, for sure. And the other thing I was going to mention is I am actually planning on making a workshop about authentication. In fact, Epic Web is is going to be home to all of my upcoming content. And my initial launch of the workshops on here, hopefully later this summer or early fall, will have a workshop about authentication. And it uses the Rocket Rental app for that. Rocket Rental actually, now that I say that, I'm like, oh yeah, actually that does use a regular username and password, but maybe I could add magic link support and eventually teach that as well. But yeah, I'll just stick a link to that too, even though it's not quite what you were asking for. I still think it's kind of interesting. So
thanks a lot, Ken. This is awesome. I'm going to take a look at all these links, and yeah, if I have any more questions, I'm going to get back to you.
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, thank you for asking, and I hope that it's helpful.
Yep.
Okay, cool. So did you have any other questions, or are we ready to go back to Discord?
Yeah, we can go back to Discord. I think I'm good.
Cool. Feel free to interrupt me. You do get priority because you are in the Zoom call. So, okay. So we'll back up to the last question that I answered, which I think is this one here. Can I use this pattern with context in TypeScript? I guess so. Yeah, I don't know why not. Probably. I think so. A little more context if you want more of an answer there for sure. Oh, you know what? One thing that I forgot to do, if people want to watch this, there you go. If you're in the Discord and you're like, where is this? It's right here. Okay, so coming back. Okay, Newman, many thanks for your content. Yeah, you're welcome. Just curious to hear your thoughts on V2 routing convention. I noticed you have haven't opted into it yet for Epic Web Dev work, but you did comment on liking it. I have mixed feelings. I see some positive for smaller projects, but when it gets larger, starts getting bigger, feels like actually a step backwards. Also, not sure if I can actually opt out of it once V2 is official here. Would like to hear your honest opinion. Okay, and since this was asked a few days ago, I'm going to mention answering this now. So I actually had a question about it. It might even have been, I don't think it was Newman, but somebody asked me about this on the Call Kent podcast. And it's right here. And here, it's Rick. So probably not the same person unless Rick goes by Newman on Discord. Yeah, so I talk about the V2 routing convention in the podcast just a couple of days ago. And basically, I am a huge fan of the new routing convention. I think it is the right direction. To address your concern about it being not scaling very well for big projects, I definitely feel that pain and can appreciate that pain. You have some projects that have 2,000 routes, and so having a directory with 2,000 routes and some of them are very long file names and stuff, that just does not sound fun at all. Completely agree with that. One nice thing is you can have a directory and then like shared stuff in that directory and stuff, but still, yeah, no thanks. And so that's why I actually am a huge fan of the hybrid routes approach, which I don't have the project open, but if we look at Rocket Rental, I am using hybrid routes in here. So we've got the routes directory, and then you'll notice we have a couple of these special folders that have a plus at the end. And what that means is that is a route segment. The plus just means everything below this is as if that file existed in the root, and that plus is replaced by a dot. So this would be like bookings dot booking ID, and as if right there. So this is only possible using the project Remix flat routes. And so you basically ignore everything. So say you effectively turn off the default convention by doing this, and then you define your own routes here. And this actually answers the other part of your question where you say, well, when V2 comes out, I don't think I'll be able to get to the old route convention that I like, that I'm using right now. And you actually will be able to do that. And I'm confident that if a project for that doesn't already exist, it will soon, or certainly by the time V2 shows up, where if you like that convention, you can do a similar thing here, and you still can use the old convention with the new version. And so you could do it that way if you wanted to. But what I would suggest, and what I'm teaching people, in fact, I'm going to be working on this probably today, teaching people to use Remix flat routes to get this this really awesome route convention. So Remix flat routes is basically the V2 convention. It was, in fact, it was implemented based off of the spec, so people could try it out right now. But it has the additional feature of this hybrid routes, which I think is absolutely necessary for anything non-trivial. So anyway, that is what my feelings are. And actually, I'll add a link. Well, if you go to this, it has links to all this stuff. So take a look at that. Okay, cool. Great question. Next is, oh, and actually, you know what? Maybe Newman did answer. Yeah, oh yeah, he did. Ha! You are named Rick. Newman. Yeah, I thought so. I was like, I'm pretty sure I answered this for you. Okay. Currently running into some issues. It seems to be the direction we're headed anyway. Love to hear your thoughts on the topic. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think he actually may have even responded to me later and said, hey, thanks for this. It's good. Okay, great. So Tyler asked a question on testing React apps. I think I may need to pull this up. So we're going to do that. And the testing workshop is yeah, we're going to need to run the test here. So I wasn't totally clear on the question, so I asked for some follow-up and said I would answer it right now, so I am. In the video, you said the DOM gets updated despite having to resolve the promise wrapped in the act function, and there was only the warning in the test execution output, and the test would still pass. My test failed before adding act function. Okay, so I need to, let's look, which test is the fake position in? Okay, fake position. And let's see. Let's see which one this would be. This is the one with deferred. Yeah, here we go. Okay, sweet. So we're looking at 06.extra2. Yeah. There we go. No test found. What? Oh, I'm running the exercise. Okay. Maybe. Hold on a second. Okay, fine. 06.extra2. Okay, there we go. So yeah, we have this, it's all working. If we don't have the act, so his assertion is, here, let's make sure I understand. If we don't have the act, then the test does not pass. So let's see that. In that case, yes, that is correct. And he's saying that I said in the video it will pass. In some cases, it will. So yeah, I'd have to rewatch the video because it's been a while since I recorded that to see if maybe I was mistaken in the way I said it or I was confusing in the way I said it. But sometimes you will have a test that passes and then you get an act error. And what happened in that case is your assertions all ran and they all ran fine. And then there was a set state that did something after your test was done. And so in that case, the test will pass, but the act warning will show up. And so by adding act, you are doing two things, actually. You're getting rid of the warning, which is fine. That's great. But what the real benefit is, you're making sure that all of the things that run as a result of your actions finish running before the test is over, which is important. It could mean that things break and your tests could break. So I apologize for if that is confusing at all. But yeah, anyway, I'm pretty sure that this is the same thing that you're talking about. Yeah, could not find loading. Just make sure that we're looking at the same thing. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So the other thing is what ACT is doing here. So to explain the behavior that you're seeing. So first, I was just explaining why I said what I said. But what ACT is doing here is it's ensuring that none of the code hereafter runs until after all use effects have been flushed. So as React is re-rendering stuff, it's queuing up all these use effect callbacks, and it's going to run them later after the DOM is done its updated stuff. And so it queues that up on a next tick of the event loop. What ACT does is it says, I want you to run all those right now. Don't bother waiting or anything. Just run them all right now as soon as this callback is finished. And so this callback finishes, we run all the effects, and then we can continue. So that's why you were seeing the DOM looking the way that it did, is because those effects did not run. You actually would get the same behavior here. Let's do this screen debug. Here, actually, we'll leave that commented out. So you can see the loading right there, and then we bring this back, and now it gets a chance to flush, and so we see the new stuff. And in fact, here, we'll do both. So we see before it flushes, and then after it flushes. And in fact, we could even go deeper here and move this down here. So this resolves, but still we have not flushed. And so we'll get the before flush and the after flush. So, and by flush, I just mean execute all the callbacks. I was gonna go somewhere with that, somewhere additional with that. Anyway, that is what use effect is, or ACT is doing. So I'm sorry if I was confusing by saying that you don't need ACT to make your test pass. You absolutely do, to make the component behave the way that you want it to for the assertions that we're making. But sometimes ACT will allow your tests to pass, even if there are ACT warnings, because you don't have any assertions based on the effects of those ACT warnings. In that case, you probably should make a couple assertions or try to find some assertions that you could be making there. I feel like there was something else. Oh, right. Yeah. Here's the other thing I was going to show just to demonstrate this. So we can actually move this ACT right here. We don't even have to wrap these, and we're still going to get, oh no, it looks like it's not. Oh, right. I'm actually not sure why that didn't work. I kind of feel like that should, but you shouldn't do it this way anyway. And maybe this issue is why. Yeah, you definitely want to wrap the thing that triggers Oh, you're going to get the act warning actually. Yeah, because this combination of these two things is going to trigger some state updates. And so that's why we're getting this stuff. I'm not sure why it didn't flash though. So that bit is I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, in any case, you wouldn't want to do that anyway. You're just going to wrap everything inside of this act callback. So hopefully that answers your question. I will grab a link to the live stream so I can paste it here and say, where are we at? We're at around 20 minutes-ish. Okay. I answered this during office hours today at around 20 minutes or so. Okay, cool. Hope that helps. Okay, I think that might be everything in Discord unless some new things have popped up. Oh, yes. So this playlist is not up to date with all the videos. That is correct. I manually update that occasionally. It is kind of annoying. I'm sorry. I wish that I had an automatic way to do that, but I don't. So I should go through and add all the live streams to that series. I will do that. Okay, so here's the question. Saw the command tscb. Yes, so that I think -b is build. I think that's what that's for. And I added the -b because it didn't work without it years ago when I created my scripts in the first place, and now I just copy paste them. People have told me that that is not necessary, and then they tried it and it didn't work quite right. So I don't know. If you get it working without the -b, then that's awesome. But I needed the -b. Yeah, looks like it's not in the docs. I think it's short for build. Pretty sure. So anyway, hopefully that helps. Okay, working on a project that needs one-time password sent to their phone as factor for login, verify email during registration, and also for changing password. I am curious, how would you write end-to-end tests for the scenario? Whew. For now, I cannot figure it out with real APIs, so I'm testing these flows by mocking the APIs with MSW. Yeah, that's what I would do too. I think that, especially since you're using APIs for this, I would mock those. I do plan on implementing OTP, one-time password, or two-factor authentication for Rocket Rental. And I found a couple modules on NPM that seem to make that actually pretty straightforward. I haven't implemented it yet, but it looked pretty straightforward. So when I do that, I'm not sure how I will end test that. I may end up doing some mocking possibly. I'll have to look. There's probably, yeah, I'm not sure. That will be a fun one for sure. But I don't have any suggestion. Like if you're using an API, like a third party to do your OTP, then I would mock it for sure. I don't think I would want my test to rely on that third party for that. So, okay, that looks like that's all the questions that we've got today. Office hours doesn't have to be an hour. That's fine. I don't mind. So thanks everybody for joining. I hope this was interesting and insightful for you. And yeah, feel free to join next week. I believe I should be going next week. Yeah, I don't see anything else on the schedule there. So sometimes there are things that are on the schedule and that oh yeah, haha, I'm going to delete office hours next week. I am not going to be doing office hours next week because this time next week, I will be doing a workshop. And so I would love for you to join me. So go to kinseydaws.com/workshops, go to the Web App Fundamentals workshop and sign up. We only have 18 slots left and it's going to be awesome. We're going to cover all kinds of things. And I'm preparing the workshop material now. In like a couple of minutes, I'm going to go take a break and then I'll come back and I'm going to start a new live stream working on this workshop material. I am pretty confident it's going to be ready by next week. Oh, well, it will be 100%, even if I have to stay up all night to make it work. It's going to be, but I'm pretty confident that I won't have to do that, which is nice. But yeah, it's going to be awesome. So yeah, feel free to tune in and watch me prepare the material. But if you come, you will learn more for sure. So yeah, anyway, I won't be doing office hours next week. And the week after that, I will be in London. So no office hours the week after that. The week after that, I might be doing office hours. That's spring break. And so, yeah, may or may not be doing office hours that week. Where's my, yeah, here we go. Yeah, so no office hours next week. If we refresh, that should be gone now. No office hours the week after that. And this may be canceled. I'm not sure. But the week after that, I should be doing office hours. Yeah. Yep. So anyway, I hope that is, I hope to see you around. I'll be live streaming a ton. So look forward to that. And yeah, hope everybody has a marvelous day. We'll see you.